Hi, and welcome to Online AP Statistics. This is Mrs. Landon here. In our first video, I'm going to actually give you a nice overview of what you can expect for this course. Due dates and deadlines, how are courses structured, how many chapters do we cover, how does it all come together? Our goal for this course is to really go through 4 different topics. So if you look at here, the first 4 topics, the first is exploring data, and it covers chapters 1 through 3. That's more of the statistics part. Chapter 4 is the second topic, which is sampling and experimentation, which talks about, how do you do surveys? How do you conduct experiments? Chapters 5 through 7 is our third topic. It's anticipating patterns. That's really probability when that comes into play. And then the last topic covers chapters 8 through 12. It's called statistical inference. And this is something you probably haven't seen before. I show you these various tests and confidence intervals you can construct to actually analyze data. Once we cover all 12 chapters, we will have finished the entire textbook. We're then going to jump into a review for about 3 weeks to get ready for your national exam. Now, that's what you're going to learn for the course. What you want to do for communication of the course is I use these updates right here on the left-hand side. So I do an update at least once a week, if not more. You want to make sure you get those notifications. So as of right now, go to the notifications and at a minimum, select the course update posts in the comments on my posts. I would recommend doing those so you get those weekly communications. The other thing you might want to do is select the course comments. You will do work uploads, and I tend to comment on those on how I score them. You probably want to get notification of my comments on it. So I would go ahead and select those for your notifications. Due dates and deadlines, I know sometimes students have questions on those. A due date is what you see here posted on the calendar. So if I click in the kind of the higher level overview, you can kind of get a quick view of what to expect. Due dates are what you see on the calendar versus the deadline is the last time I'm going to take that assignment. Now, of these 4 topics in the 12 chapters, each chapter is going to have 2 deadlines. You're going to have a mid-chapter deadline and an end-of-chapter deadline. I will post and tell you when the mid-chapter deadline is coming up. In any work that's required as of the mid-chapter, if it's not done by that deadline, you get 0 points in Skyward. Okay, and you cannot make up those points. But you still need to learn the material because you have to get ready for the chapter test. So it really behooves you just to make the deadline because you might as well do the work and get the points for it. There's also an end of chapter deadline, which basically means it's the last day you can have the chapter test completed. You'll also want to make those. If you don't make the end of chapter deadline, means you didn't get to take the test and the test is 0 points. You don't want to go there. That's not going to be good. For this course, we are an 80-20 split, as most classes are. The 80% is your summative. So of the 12 chapters, what you're going to find is you're going to see that we have 2 summative tests for each chapter. You're going to have a multiple choice portion and a free response portion. All of your chapter tests are structured like that because that is exactly how the national exam is structured. The national exam is a 2-part multiple choice and free response. The multiple choice is 40 questions in 90 minutes. The free response is 6 questions in 90 minutes. So we really try to stay with that philosophy in your testing. Now, I want to talk about these course resources here for a second. These are very general, and I'm going to first click into here. If you take a look at it, there's really just a few things I want to highlight. Here is a YouTube playlist, and all of the videos for your lessons are embedded in Schoology. But if you click on here, this is the playlist that I have for AP Stats. If you ever have access issues, you can always come here. Our playlist is called MWHS Online AP Stats. You can look for my name. All the videos are there. That could be handy. The other one is our textbook. You all need to come and pick up the hard copy textbook. It's a very good textbook. It's actually for a math book, not that difficult of a read. I really like it. But some people like to have the online textbook. Here's a link to actually get to the online textbook. So I do have kind of a class account. If you wanted to log into this as this kind of a one-off thing, you could get to this online textbook using the appropriate logins that I mentioned within our day 1 material. You can also get your own. So if you want to have your own electronic textbook, come and see me and I can give you your own special code so you can create your own login and things of that nature. Also, we're going to be talking about, I think it's on day 2, registering for the AP course material. And here's that if you need to reference it again. The last thing, though, in this file that I think is the most important is an AP formula sheet. I'm going to give you this when you come and pick up your textbook, and it is a formula sheet that you are allowed to use on any AP exam. Your national exam, they include this in the packet for your test. So it's something you just want to reference and know that it's out here. And I do reference it throughout our learning in terms of all of the chapters that we go through. Sometimes the formula sheet pops up, sometimes it doesn't. Other things you might be interested in here, college credit. Does my college give me credit for this class? This can be interesting. Feel free to actually click into here, find the college that you know you're interested in going to, and it'll actually give you some information. Might have to click here to go outside of it. You can select the course and the actual college, and it'll tell you what type of score you have to get on the exam to get college credit. And that's probably it in the course resources that I want to highlight, but feel free to take a look at the other things in here that may come up. Now, the big thing I want to do is actually talk about how a chapter works. Let's actually look at a chapter. You're going to notice that these folders are color coded. And what you're going to see is that our topic 1 is in green, topic 2 is in orange, topic 3 is in blue, and then the last topic, I believe, is in red. For first semester, we actually cover the first 7 chapters. Second semester, we'll do chapters 8 through 12, which are the last 5. And then we get ready for the review. And again, the national exam in May. All the chapters are structured very similarly. You're going to notice completion rules. So you have to complete things in the folder to move forward. If I click here on chapter 1, let's kind of start diving in to see how it actually works. What you're going to find is always a question board. And some years students use this more than others. Let's say you're doing the material and you have a question, feel free to come to this discussion board, pop a question. I get notifications and when questions come up, and I'll try to help you that way. I love this question board because everyone has access to it and everyone can kind of see other questions out there. There really is not a dumb question. You hear that a lot, but it's true. So I do like you guys sharing your questions with each other because you might be thinking, oh, that's a great question. I should have asked it. Sometimes students will email me their questions. That works too. If you do have a specific question about homework, what I do recommend is taking a snapshot of that homework and maybe attaching it to the discussion or attaching it to an email. Every chapter has its own course resources. In the course resources, you're going to find 2 things. You're going to find the note packets. So you're going to pick up the hard copy note packets to take your notes on. If you don't like the note packets, you don't have to use them. That's fine. Some years I have students that really like to use iPads. So they will click here and actually save this PDF document of my note packets and open them up on their iPads and do all of their annotations within the iPad. You are more than welcome to use that resource too. Another resource that I end up referencing later on in the end of the chapter are some helpful hints. I have Google Docs that have all some kind of the highlights. What should you know about every chapter? What are some key things to maybe study for your test? So I do recommend looking at those helpful hints. But again, I will kind of highlight that as we get ready for the review. Every chapter then has a quick little opener just to give you an idea of what things are going to be about. And then it's going to be broken down into various sections. Now, the folder sections, I will tell you, are broken down more like each folder is a single traditional day, so roughly a 50-minute class period. When we're on a win day, because of the 0 hour, what you're typically going to do is get assigned 2 different folders. So if it's a day where there's, maybe we have to do both assignments, it's structured to be kind of for the block or the win time. Let's take a look when you go into this completion rules again. Remember, must complete. Go into this first folder, for example, and you're going to look at everything. So in order to have this folder completed so the other one opens up, look what you have to do. This must be viewed, by the way. You have to watch this video. If you don't watch it and you do the homework, the next folder won't open up. So please make sure to do that. This practice problems right here, it says you must view, and this one that you must score something on. Now, videos, I want you to watch them. Take some notes. The videos notes are going to reference the same in the note packet so you can follow along. These practice problems, you're actually going to find these in the note packet and they're optional. If you look at my kind of highlights, it's highly recommended you do these. I will tell you in the past, I think most students probably don't do these at first, which is fine unless you want more practice. But what you can do, some extra practice, if you click on it, this is what you're going to find in your actual packet. So you're going to find these particular questions. They're going to show up in the packet. I love having them in there so you can make your own notes. Try these problems. If you want to look at the answers, great. View the solutions. So go in, you can actually see the solutions for this. Sometimes people will do these as they're learning the section. I think more commonly what I have found is people will come back to these practice things and maybe look at them when they're getting ready to take the test, or in particular, if they are retaking, they really come into this one. Now, what you do need to do is this green puzzle piece. So you're going to have some homework quizzes. Homework quizzes is just basic standard homework. Notice it says you have to have an 80% or higher. You get 3 tries and then you're locked out of this homework. So what I have found in this case, because you have to meet a proficiency level, when students have hit their second try and they're not getting it, that's when they either post to that question board, or they'll send me an email with some questions, or they'll stop by my room. Folks, we're an online class, but that doesn't mean you can't come see me. I'm in room C205. Please swing in anytime with questions. Let me know if I can help you in person. I'm more than happy to do that. Now, let's take a look at some other stuff. In here, again, remember the homework I talked about is only 20% of your grade, but 20% makes a big deal. And let me tell you this, if you ever want to retake a chapter test in here, either multiple choice, free response, or both, every single formative homework assignment has to be met by the deadline. If you've missed one or more, you've just forfeited your right to retake any test. So I got to tell you guys, I don't think I've ever really had students not do the homework in this class. They just do it. That's how it works. So make sure you stay on task with that, and let me know how I can help you out. I'm going to look at another folder here. You're going to notice this, the quick view. This has a video, optional practice, another homework quiz. On this one here, you're going to see a couple different things. So let's click right into this one in particular. We have a video to watch, some optional practice, another homework quiz at 80% or higher. Then you're going to have a work upload. Within here, you're going to see work you're going to have to do on your own notebook paper. Here's the particular question. You need to do it, and you need to upload your answer here. I'm going to come on in and grade it. These are the things too that I think you want to have the comments turned on, because if you don't get 100% on this, I will leave you comments on why you're not getting 100 points. These work uploads you can submit one time. I don't really give you a second option to re-upload it. The 3 tries homework is the green puzzle pieces. This one also has a multiple choice portion for it. Again, 80% proficiency on this. So really the green puzzle pieces, those are the assignments you have to get 80% or higher. Notice this upload just has to be a submission. These multiple choice questions are great. They can be tricky. They are actual AP exam questions from previous year's tests. Every single multiple choice question in this website is from the AP board. So I more than prep you on the content and the difficulty level for AP. Again, let me know if you're struggling on something, maybe after try 2, if you need some more insight on those. Okay, let's continue to dive into and see what's next. If we go into this folder, we pretty much have the same kind of stuff coming up, some work uploads, homework quiz, multiple choice quiz. Folder here, this next one, you're going to see an applet. Okay, here's another type of homework you could have. If you click into here, what an applet is a discussion post. It's kind of like doing an in-class activity, but not being in class. Click on the applet, and this is an introductory thing to the lesson. Read the directions of what I want you to do. A lot of the times they're going to be links to simulations that you run, and you kind of run these experiments and you see what happens. And then I have you comment and I give you points for your discussion post. That's typically how those will start off. And then you're going to jump into the video. Okay. That's kind of the basic types of daily questions and homeworks you're going to have. Now let's take a look at that first mid-chapter deadline coming up. We're going to have a mid-chapter deadline, and don't look at this date. This can definitely change. I haven't set them quite yet. But what the mid-chapter deadline is a free response. is going to be kind of the trigger for it. So I'm going to have you try your first, what I call mid free response. If you click in here, it's going to actually post a free response question. You have one attempt to do this. You're going to post your answer, and then I'll grade it. And I'm going to grade it according to how the AP board would have scored that free response in terms of their scoring criteria. Okay, so meet that. When we start off in chapter 1, though, I actually do give you an introduction on kind of how to read these free responses and what to do. I'm not going to show you this communication normally in terms of how to score free responses. Okay, but again, notice the deadline is going to be posted. Now, as we wrap up this chapter, you're going to see these helpful hints. They're going to have some helpful hints again that you can reference, which I already showed you kind of these. I do recommend you read them. They're not required. Here's some vocabulary flashcards. Maybe you want some more practice. Try it if you want to. Okay, as we wrap up the chapter, the next thing we're going to get to is a free response practice. This folder is a one-day kind of traditional assignment, and what it is you're trying up to 2 free responses and you're critiquing them. So let me show you. When you click into here, you're going to have these on every chapter. I'm going to give you a free response question to try. So you're going to click into here. You're going to read the question. You're going to type in what you think the answer is, and that's it. I'm giving you credit for doing this assignment for just making a submission. I don't care what you get on it. I don't even care what your answer is. Try it. See if you can think about what the answer should be. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is after you try it, I'm going to show you 2 student responses. This first one is student 1's response. This is how they responded. I want you to critique it. What would you give this in terms of a 1, 2, 3, or 4? And what you're going to do is you're going to learn what does this 1, 2, 3, or 4 mean, and you're going to become really good at it. Because that's how you get graded. This document right here, I want you to read beforehand. It's going to talk about the scoring. Scoring on a free response, or 1 or 2 is not passing. A 3 or 4 is considered passing, which is your goal. You're just going to practice scoring them and giving me a comment. You're going to do it for a second student. Okay, so you've tried it once. You've read 2 other students' comments and answers. Now I want you to actually read the correct answer. You're going to come on in here, and I just want you to absorb what the right answer was. How could you have gotten a 4 on this actual question? Okay, that's round 1 of the free response critiques. Then you're going to try another one. Okay, now you're going to go into here, and what I want you to do is actually click on the free response. This is a second one, and it's a different question. Read the directions thoroughly. You're going to view the particular free response for this time. And for chapter 1, this is your end of chapter free response that's popping up right there. Try this question. Okay, try it on your own paper. Either print this out and try it or do it in your packets. And then after you try it, I want you to upload your solution. Okay. Again, I don't care what your solution is. I mean, I do. I would love for it to be right. But if it's not, that's okay. I'm not grading if it's correct or not. You're uploading it. You've tried it. That's what this is. Then go in and actually read the solution. Okay. After that, I want you to reflect on your own write-up and give yourself a fair score. What should you have gotten on this? Do you think you would have gotten a 1, 2, 3, or 4, and why? Okay. It is very easy to get every single point, 100 points on all of these free responses if you just do the work and get prepared for that. And I wrap every chapter up with kind of these final critiques on it. Okay, after we've done that, if you scroll down, you're going to notice the next thing is a chapter review. So this chapter review, you're going to find in your note packet. So this is optional. I highly recommend you do it. I actually probably should make it mandatory, but if you don't do it, I think you're kind of crazy. Just do it. It's excellent review for the test. How prepared do I feel? You're going to find the multiple choice and free response questions at the end of the chapter in your note packets. Okay. Now what you can do is you're going to go in and you can click in your answers, and it'll tell you if you're right or if you're wrong for that review. Then for the free response ones, though, if I scroll down here, you're going to have to get what the free response answers are. So what you can do if you want to check your free response, I have a video. This video walks through all of my multiple choice solutions, how I deduce them, and all of my free response solutions. So feel free to jump on this video, fast forward to where you want to go. Again, highly recommend you do this. Now, what I've also added are some more optional review. In the past years, students have had said, do you have more practice I could do? Sure. For chapter 1, if you want some more multiple choice practice, you can just click on here. You're going to see some questions pop up. And I think on this particular extra practice, you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it'll actually show you the answers to it too. So the answers will be posted. Do you want more free response practice? That's fine. You're actually going to find more free response practice right here on this particular assignment too. Okay, now you're going to have an end of chapter deadline. Again, don't hold to this particular date yet. That's when everything has to be wrapped up.